JLR investigates. Breaking news. Outside the Carroll County Courthouse, Richard Allen trial, the first session just came to an end. Opening statements by both parties. We're going to try to understand what was said in there. People have been rushing out of the courtroom right here. So let's get an understanding of what's going on, what is said. We're going to kind of listen to a round. But it seems like News Nation here is about to go live right now with some information about what transpired. Only a few people got in. So we're going to get some details very soon, within the next few minutes, by listening to others and try to get the details of what's going on. Let me go out here. What happened? What have you learned? Here, I'm going to spin the camera around. What have you learned?
Well, I was just talking to Marv, so I guess people are kind of surprised right now, shocked a little bit, because there was nothing new presented in the opening argument. So the state went first, and then the defense did theirs. That's all they've done so far, is just the opening. So the opening statement from the prosecution was the same as what they've been saying. There was nothing new. And he just said, they believe that Richard Allen wanted to have his way with the two girls and could have been interrupted by a neighbor coming home, Brad Weber, nearby. And that was pretty much the prosecution statement. And then the defense, they said kind of what they've been saying, but mainly just that there's a lot of problems with the investigation itself. They brought up the hairs found in Abby's hand. They said that apparently those hairs were not even tested until recently. So there's a lot of questions, and they said there's a lot of problems with this case overall. And also another thing that they said, it seems like they're going to try to say that Libby and Abby's bodies were actually moved to where they were ultimately found, that's not actually what happened, that they weren't in the area until later.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we get an understanding of what he was wearing?
Richard Allen?
Yeah,
No,
we can
go.
Do you have any idea what he was wearing?
No, I didn't ask her that. She's right there.
Ask her, yeah, and then I'm gonna, she's gonna get an understanding of the attire of what he was wearing. So we're getting information that's trickling out right now. It's the first break right now. JLR that were in line. All right, so let me spin the camera around. Give me 1 second.
She said a light purple shirt and khakis.
A light purple shirt and khakis.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Let me get this. A light purple shirt and khakis. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no tie?
Doesn't sound like it, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
so really no bombshell stuff. Basically stuff that we've already heard prior to leading up to today. Nothing new, nothing.
Yeah, so the case is the case. It doesn't sound like there will be any shocking new evidence or anything like that. So it just sounds like the defense has a lot to work with, because there's a lot of issues here with this case. So they're going to just hammer those things the whole time. And the prosecution, I feel like, has an uphill battle to prove Richard Allen did this beyond a reasonable doubt.
Interesting. So interesting. So, so let's go over here a minute. Let's go over here and let's talk a minute, Magnolia, because we talked to some local here, and a local was telling us. What did a local tell us?
Oh, yeah.
So what did a local tell us? That
We got an earful.
Let's go down here a little bit in the sun. It's a little bit, yeah, we got an earful.
Yeah.
We got somebody that was in the prison that Richard Allen was in at one point.
Yeah. So we had these locals that pulled up beside us. We were just asking them their take, and they were saying that if they think if he's found guilty, that Richard will be killed in prison basically right away. They're saying the inmates will take care of him. And they also said they think the only reason it hasn't happened already is because he was in protective custody in like solitary confinement. Because they think that someone would have done something to him otherwise. But they also were kind of questioning the case too. Not really, is he really did he really do this or not? But we were talking about the confessions, and we were saying how he's saying he was coerced. Yeah.
See, basically, exactly what they said. Someone said in the chat, the Aryan Nation. They said Odinism isn't really big in the prison system here, but the Aryan Nation or the Aryan Brotherhood is.
Yeah, and the gangs.
And the gangs. They were saying the GBs, the gangster, or GDs, gangster disciples, and there was like, but the Aryan Nation, they said the Aryan Nation or the Aryan Brotherhood is the ones that are going to get to him. He will be in protective custody for the rest of his life. And they think those individuals thought he was guilty too. And they were like, just, if he gets convicted based off the two little girls, his days are numbered. Literally in the prison system. And he also said, I said, well, what do you think about Indiana protecting him per se, or sending him to another state or something like that? He's like, no, they'll Indiana guards and everybody will let basically something happen to Richard Allen. They'll let it happen. Yeah,
but they were questioning the case too, though. Like, we were talking about the confessions, and I said, well, he said that he was threatened and coerced into doing that. And Jonathan was like, yeah, that doesn't happen. And they were like, yes, it does. They said it does happen, where people can be threatened and coerced into doing something like making a false confession. So, they thought it was entirely possible, being in the prison themselves. So they just kind of made it sound like Indiana prison system is pretty hardcore.
So Marv, they're going back in. Is it just a break?
Yeah,
a quick break? So what's going on?
They have to get back in and get back to their seat, because they only had I think maybe a 10-minute break.
Oh, a 10-minute break. Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically, is the gist of this particular live right now is nothing new that we haven't really heard. No opening bombshells on either side. It's pretty much the stuff that we've already known up to this point.
Yeah.
No smoking gun, no nothing, no new information or anything like that. On that. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, based off what Marv said with the opening statements, the biggest thing I think is this idea that Abby and Libby's bodies were moved, that they were not originally at that spot where they were found ultimately.
Now, who said that?
They were moved. So this was part of the defense's opening statement. So
interesting.
That's something they're going to, it sounds like they're going to explore that. Angle.
So the bodies were tampered. Somebody placed the bodies where they were found.
Yeah, they were saying that the bodies were not there initially and somehow ended up in that spot where they were ultimately found the next day. Now there's a lot of stuff too, I know, with the phone data from Libby's phone, and there's also this geofencing data of different phones that were in the area. So maybe some of that factors into what they're saying with the body removed based on Libby's phone GPS and things like that. So, yeah.
All right, well.
Lisa says the bodies were moved. Yeah, so that's something, I don't really think we've heard a whole lot of talk about that detail. I've heard it once or twice before, but it does sound like that is an avenue that they're going to go down.
All right, I'm going to spin the camera around, see if you can try to find out more details or something, kind of like ask around, or are you good? This is where the jury comes in, where the defendant and the jury comes in right here at the side of the building here. It's definitely much warmer out here right now, but people started flooding out. And so we got a little bit of info of what transpired. They're going back, the court is going back into session. Very, very soon. Court's going back into session. As a matter of fact, everyone that was out here is now. We hit something. So, Court is back in session. Court is back in session out here.
Okay, I got another thing.
You got another thing.
So,
What do you got?
as expected, Fran Gull did approve their motion to suppress those sketches.
Ah,
So
okay.
the sketches will not be used in the trial.
So no sketches used in trial. That hurts Richard Allen, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The Debbie, the Drooby Dooby Doo show. Drooby Dooby Doo show. Thank you. Thank you for that information. Coming. Okay, so that hurts Richard Allen. You would think that they would allow to have the sketches, right?
Well, they were one of the biggest tools that they had in the investigation for 5 years.
That was the one, to try to find who
Those
did it.
sketches are ubiquitous with this case, so it's kind of strange they wouldn't be.
Let's walk this way a little bit. Come with me. As we're out here, sun is out here, Delphi, Indiana. We're giving you another update, and we'll keep giving you updates as people come out. They'll keep sharing their updates.
Yeah, so I think people have to get back in or else they will lose it.
Yeah, see, look, she's running back in. The News Nation reporter's running back in. There she goes. There she goes. Okay, so I just want to go down here a minute. So what we'll keep doing, folks, is we'll keep, every time there's a new update, we'll keep coming back out and sharing new information. Again, we want to get you guys the information, what's being said out here. There is a state police presence out here. State police presence out here. There's somebody flying a drone. I think he got a drone. Don't you have a drone? You might park right over here. Do me a favor. Can you hold this? Just hold this and talk a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm going to move to that spot.
Thank you, Drewby. Yeah, they're talking about the sketches that were done by law enforcement. There were 2 different sketches. One of them was a younger suspect. The other looked more like Richard Allen, but now they're saying that the prosecution is saying that those sketches did not help them identify Richard Allen as a suspect because the witnesses didn't get a good enough look at be able to ID him as the suspect. What's the breakfast place called? Thank you, Wintermer Sacred.
Hello. All right, JLR investigates back out here. So people went back in. So I had to move my car to another location. There was an open spot here. I like this spot right here because it kind of gives me a view on the side here. Because the attorneys of Richard Allen, they come through on the side here. We'll keep walking.
Yeah, I tell you, it's gonna warm up.
They come through. Right here. Usually the defendant's lawyer comes out here through the side. Some people come through the side, and then you have this here. So I thought this was a better position over here. The Starlink's kind of acting a little weird, or not as good as this morning, but you're getting the updates. You're getting the updates here on JLR Investigate. businesses are starting to open. You got a pizza place. Might go over there and get some pizza in a little bit. But it's like the people are out here. The people are out here. Indiana State Police out here. And that's pretty much the situation. All right, so what we'll do is I'm gonna sign off for a little bit, and then when something else breaks, I'll come back on, and when new stuff comes out, people come back out, I'll continue to share. Out here, boots on the ground, JLR investigates. Share this video out. Got the first key details. One more thing. Come here, Magnolia. Anything else you want to add before I sign off? Nothing else. Doing great work, getting your sources and people giving you information.
Getting the hot scoop.
Yeah, we're getting the hot scoop.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a bit. JLR Magnolia investigates. See you later, everyone.